I have been watching ASMR videos for a long time, about 2 years, and I've been wanting to make one for a long time, so I finally think I have a good topic, so I hope you enjoy. I started knitting about when I was about 12 or so, and I learned a lot of the really basic stitches, but I never cared enough to spend the time to learn more. So, but recently I picked it up again because one of my friends got really into it, and she made me a really big blanket, and I just saw all the cool stuff that she was making, and I really wanted to get back into it. So I about, let's see, 4 or 5 months ago, I started teaching myself again. I learned some more challenging stitches that I was not able to do before, and I've really been enjoying it. So I have a few projects that I'm in the middle of right now, so I thought I'd just show you those and talk a little bit about them. And then I have one that I'm working on that I think I can show you a little bit of that if you want. So the first one, this is one that I started, let's see, it was a long time ago, probably in April or so, and this is a sock. I know it doesn't look like one right now. I had made another pair of socks and had taught myself how to do cabling on that project, and cabling is where you use a special needle. This is one cable needle, and you take some of the stitches and you hold them either in the back of the work or the front of the work, so it makes this really cool crisscross pattern. I think you can see that. So you can see where it crisscrosses over. That's where I was doing the cabling. So I wanted to do a project that would make me practice that a lot and get better at that, because it's definitely challenging at first. So, and I also have been getting into hiking and backpacking a lot lately, so I was looking for some nice thick wool socks that would go up pretty high on my legs so that the boots wouldn't rub. So I bought a few pairs, but it's nice to wear something that you make also. So this project it's harder than I thought it would be. I think one of the main reasons for that is that the needles are really thin. I think these are size 2 needles, and the smaller the number, the thinner the needle. These are size 15 needles, which are obviously much bigger than these ones. So when you're knitting with small needles like this, it takes a lot longer to knit anything because it's really tightly knit, and it doesn't take up very much space. So I might knit 10 rows on here, and it would take the same amount of space as 2 rows on the size 15. I made those numbers up, so I'm not sure if that's a good, you got what I'm saying. So it definitely is taking a long time, and it's also, I made a few mistakes early on. I hope you can't notice because I'm not going to tear it out and restart, but this is the first cable pattern that I did, and you can see it's supposed to look just like the next one, which is down here, but there's a few stitches where these ones, some of these up here were supposed to go under, but I made them go over. Let's see. Yeah, right here. This one is backwards from this one, so I made a few mistakes early on, and it's kind of discouraging when you do that because I don't want to tear out everything and start over again, but I know every time I look at it I'll notice it. But I don't think anybody else will, unless they're really, really close to my socks, which I doubt will happen. So that's one thing that's keeping me from doing it. Another is that I had been using this cable needle to do it, and I don't know if you can see, but this needle is a lot thicker than these small golden ones, which made it really challenging to do the cable, which is a hard thing to do anyway. but when you're using a thicker needle, it makes the stitches really tight. So I was having a lot of trouble, and it took forever to do this part right here. So I got some smaller, let's see, I bought a package of 3 cable needles, and I don't know the sizes of them. It doesn't say on the package, but this green one looks really small, so I think this one looks about the same size as the gold one. So I think this one will make it a lot easier to finish up that pattern. I'm hoping. So this has also been challenging because it uses double pointed needles, which have points on both ends, as opposed to let's see, this is a single pointed needle, which just has a point up here and then a little stopper at this end. The double pointed needles let you do this kind of thing where you're knitting around in a circle. So this is good for socks, for hats, sweaters that you want to go over your body, gloves and mittens, anything that you want to make without having a seam down the back, because if you are knitting with these kind of needles, you knit and it goes across here, and when it comes off the needle it's just in a straight line, so you have to sew it up along the side so that it will fit you. So the double pointed needles make work like this look better, but it was just another thing that I had to learn how to do. And I think this is one method for making circular things like this. The other one, let's see. This is a circular needle right here. So it's got needles up on the 2 ends, and then it has this plastic cord all around going between them. So this one functions the same way that this does. You have your stitches that you're working with, the tips, and then everything else rests on the plastic part right here. So you can knit around in a circle instead of having to make a seam. But I think this one's a little bit easier because you have fewer needles to keep track of. This one I was working with 5 needles and then sometimes 6 if I was doing a cable pattern. So it's just hard to hold it all in your hand and keep track of when you have to move to a new needle. But I'm sure that comes with practice. So yeah, I'm trying to be motivated to work on this some more, but it's also kind of disheartening because I know once I'm done with this sock, which has been so challenging, I'll have to start over again and do a whole nother sock unless I want to just have one sock. So I know it's probably going to be the last thing that I get around to doing, but I don't want to just abandon it. So let's put this back. Okay. So the next project that I am in the middle of, and this was my primary project for a while, but then I had some other projects that were more time sensitive, so I kind of put this one on hold, and it's just hard to pick up again, even though I do want to finish it, definitely. This is a sweater that I'm working on. You can probably not tell by looking at it that it's a sweater. This is like not a pullover sweater, it's like a cardigan, so it'll have, the front part will be open. So instead of knitting it in the round on a circular needle or the double pointed needles like these ones, I'm knitting it on these 2 straight needles, and then I am going to sew all the pieces together. So I'm knitting it piece by piece, and I finished some of it. So this, let's see, this is the back piece, and it's quite large. So it's going to come down, it's going to be pretty big. It's going to definitely be warm, and it's something that I can pull and really feel comfortable in. And this, the back piece took a long time because it's big and there were some stitches that I was getting the hang of. It's kind of hard to see because it's the dark yarn, but there's a really cool pattern. I'll try to hold it against the light. there's like a crisscross pattern going across the back in the middle panel, and then along the sides it's got these two long ribs, and then a little I don't know what you would even call that. I think they called it ear of corn pattern. It doesn't really look like an ear of corn to me, but it's like a really small cable pattern, so there's stitches crossing over each other all the way down. The yarn that I chose for this might not have been the best choice. You can see that it's really fuzzy, so unlike this yarn, which is I'm using for the sock, this yarn is pretty contained. Like, you can see the stitches that you make, it doesn't have a lot of flyaways, whereas this one, it's a thicker yarn, but it also, just the material that it's made out of, it kind of is wispier, and it makes the pattern not show up quite as clearly. It's really soft and it's really comfortable, so I think it will feel nice and warm, and I think it will turn out well, but I'm a little bit disappointed that you know, I work so hard on these patterns and you can hardly see them, but I'll know that they're there. So, so that was the back portion, and then this is the left front panel. So this is going to be sewn, let's see, sewn on, I guess like this, and then, yeah, and then these little divots are where the sleeve is going to go. I was a little bit concerned when I was looking at the pattern. I'll show you. This pattern is well loved. Okay, the picture is really tiny, so you really can't tell, but in that second picture there, you can kind of maybe see. It goes up around her neck, like in the back right here. And I was doing the back part, and I noticed that it didn't have that, and I was really worried and started panicking that I'd done something wrong. But then, thankfully, when I was doing the front panel, I noticed, oh, that's this part up here that's going to go wrap around the back. So this is just half, and then the other half will be on the right side. So, just goes to show that panicking does no good. I'm glad that I didn't. I was considering, like, just making it up. I just assumed that I'd done something wrong, even though I'd been following the pattern, so I'm glad that I didn't try to fix a mistake that I hadn't actually made, which is something that I tend to do without thinking. So anyway, I'm currently working on the right front panel, and it's about halfway done probably. It gets faster as you go up because it gets thinner, so each row takes less time. So I've got the stitch markers here, and those show me where different parts of the pattern are. So if you can see on this one, maybe you can, maybe you can't. There's some ribs along the side, and then there's a little pattern right here, just like on the back. And then there's a really cool, like, what do they call it? They call it like an owl or something like that. Oh, that's the seed wishbone pattern. So I guess to them it looks like a wishbone. So it has the two like forks kind of going up, and they just go all the way down. So that's what's in between these two stitch markers, is that wishbone pattern. And then here's another of the crisscross cables, and then the rib along the side. So these help keep me, in case I happen to drop a stitch or add another stitch that shouldn't be there, it makes it really easy to figure out where the problem is and then fix it, and just keep track of where I am, because especially when the pattern gets smaller and smaller, it's hard to do all those transformations in your head. So I'm excited to finish this before the fall. I don't think it'll take too much longer. I just have to do the sleeves, and those will be pretty quick, I think, because they're not too long. And then it will be ready and just in time for the cold weather. So my last pattern or project that I'm working on right now, I like to this one a lot. So I do a lot of babysitting, and there's a family of twins that I've known for over 2 years. It's been about 2.5 years. So I first started sitting for them when they were about 18 months old, and they were just learning how to talk and just kind of getting to be toddlers. And I've seen them start preschool, and I worked at their preschool last year, and they just turned 4. So it's just really special to be part of their lives for so long. So their birthday was coming up, and they were in Finland during their birthday. But I decided that I would make a gift to give to them, kind of as a belated birthday present when they came back. So I'm hoping to have this done by Thursday, because that's when I'm going to see them next. And I think I can do that. It's not too big of a project. So they're twins, and they can get competitive, so it's important that I give them both the same gift, but also make it a little bit different so that it's distinctive. So one of them really likes purple and the other one likes pink. So I'm making these unicorns, and one's going to have purple on the hooves and the mane, and then the other one will have pink. So they're going to be just distinctive enough that they'll know which one is theirs. So you can see I already did the head and the ears and the little horn and the body, and I'm working on the legs right now. So after that, all I have to do is the mane and the tail. So I think I've got a lot of the legs sewn or knitted already. I just need to seam them up and stuff them with filling and then sew them onto the body, which doesn't take that long. So I have all the purple legs. I just need, and I have one pink leg. I just need 3 more of these pink ones. And this project actually, I don't know why, the pattern called for me to make it on this circular needle, which doesn't make any sense, because unless there's some secret trick that I don't know or I'm doing it wrong, I cannot figure out how to get things like this tiny leg on this needle, because the way that circular needles work is the stitches go all the way around. So these five little stitches on the top would have to go all the way around here, which is impossible. I think they make smaller circular needles, so ones with this plastic part where it's not so big. I didn't see any at the store when I went, so I just decided that I would knit them. I'm using the circular needle because it's the right thickness, but I'm just using it as a straight needle, so just knitting back and forth instead of knitting all the way around. So that results in these flattened out legs that need to be sewn up on the side. So it's just one more step, but it's not that much work. And they're 4. I don't think they care too much about seams on the back of the legs of their unicorn. So if it were, something that I cared more about how it looked to that level of detail, then I might spend more time figuring out how to do it. So I'm really happy with the way these turned out. I think they're going to be really cute. And I have some, I have some black yarn in here somewhere to make the face. But I think I'm going to do that last because I think it's going to be challenging and I don't want to do it yet. The stitches themselves are not challenging, it's just the knowing where to put them. And that's kind of the case with all of this whole project. The stitches themselves is pretty much, it's really simple. All I had to do was knit and purl, which are the 2 really basic stitches that you learn when you first start, and then increasing and decreasing stitches. So it was really simple in that way, but then when you're sewing on the parts, you have to put them in just the right place, or it just looks really funny. So I ripped out this leg like two times before deciding on putting it here, because I kept putting it in the wrong place. So hopefully it'll turn out well. I think the girls will really like it because they love fairy tales and princesses, all that 4-year-old girl Disney stuff. so they'll really like it. And it's really nice. I mean, I don't have a lot of money, so I know that any gift that I could get them would just, it would not be as special as something that I made myself, so I think they'll really enjoy it. I am a little bit concerned because it's not the most sturdy. Pretty much if something sharp were to cut one of the stitches, the whole thing would unravel. So I'm hoping that they last a long time. That's my big worry, and I don't really know how to make them stronger. I guess maybe I could knit like a front and a back and then sew them together so it's 2 layers thick. So maybe I'll do that next time I make toys for young kids. So I think that was all that I had in terms of projects that I'm working on. I'm trying to finish these ones up before starting new ones, but it's really difficult. The most exciting part of knitting definitely is looking for patterns and starting them, and then doing that last finishing touch to actually finish it. And there's a lot of work in between, but it is very relaxing, and I like to do it while watching movies or watching ASMR videos or something like that. So I thought maybe if you were still interested, you can keep watching. I'm just gonna stuff a few of these and seam them up and then sew them onto the body. And then I might do another video where I'm actually knitting. I don't want to make this too long, and I don't really know how long it is already. So that's my plan. Alright, so I'll go ahead and get started. Okay, sorry about that. My battery died. So I have a new fully charged battery. So I will continue where I left off. So I'm stuffing this first leg. You have to make sure you get the stuffing in pretty evenly or it'll make the leg really lumpy. And I'm still learning that. Some of these bodies are a little bit lumpy. But that's okay. I think playing with them and kind of moving them around will help make them more even. So I put a little bit of stuffing in the end, and what I'm going to do is just take the needle and put it through the stitches in the very, very end, and then pull it tight. And I'm just doing a mattress stitch, I think that's what it's called. It's just really simple, and it blends in pretty well with the rest of the stitches, so I know where the seam is, but it's not super noticeable, which is good. And so what I do with these really thin pieces is that I seam a little bit, stuff a little bit, then seam a little bit, stuff a little bit to make sure that I can fit the stuffing in the whole thing. So put a little more stuffing. I'm really excited to give these to them. I think it'll just be really, really rewarding. I don't know. I love giving gifts to people. It just makes me feel really, really happy. Yeah, because I care so much about these people that are close to me, and to be able to express that in some small way, I think is really nice. I think I got it from my dad, who definitely expresses love through giving gifts to people. And it has a place. Okay, so this one's almost done. And I like to stuff it pretty tightly so that it has a good shape. This one, it's a little bit lumpy. Oh, okay. So I'm just at the very top now. So I'm just seaming the top, and then I'm going to start to sew it onto the body. And it's really important when you get to the end to tie it securely so that it doesn't come apart, because I know that would be very sad if suddenly the unicorn's leg just fell off. So I like to leave nice long tails on the end of everything here so that I can use this to tie up the strings that I'm using. I'm not the best at making knots, so I'm always worried that they're going to come undone, so I always make sure I do it like 3 or 4 times, probably more than I need to do. Okay, so now to decide where to put it, and I'm thinking I'll go right about here. So these will be the 2 front legs, and all the legs are the same size, so it's not like it matters front or back. So we'll see how this looks. Okay, so that looks about right, and I can always adjust it a little bit when I'm sewing it on. I can twist it a little bit. Okay. So I like to put the seam. Here's the seam. I'm going to put that on the inside edge so that you can't see it as easily. And then I'll just start sewing. So I attach, I pick up one of the stitches on the leg, and then I sew it to one of the stitches on the body, and then I just keep doing that all the way around in a circle until I get back to the starting point. And then I go back and do it again to make sure it's extra secure, and then I knot it really, really tightly. So I'll just show you this one and then probably do the rest later. I like knitting a lot more than doing this. This part is just, you have to focus a lot more on it. Knitting, you kind of get into a groove. So once I start on a pattern, I can learn it pretty quickly and don't really have to check the pattern or check the page very much. But with this, you really have to be looking down and intently focusing on just that. And I think we're not so good at that in this day and age, just focusing on one thing so intently. You need distractions. I know I do. Okay. So I did my first round. I'm going to do the second time around. And then I'll tie it up. Okay, just one more, or 2 more. Alright, so I did it. It's nice and tight now. So I'm going to tie this end to the end, the tail that I left on the leg, I'm sorry. Tie it up tight. 3 times. Just to be sure. And then I'm going to take this end and kind of tie it around some more, just to be sure. This is definitely overkill. And then what I like to do is pass this through the body and cut it really, really close. So here's scissors. So I'm just going to cut it really, really close. And what that does, I make this up, I don't know if this is actually real or not, but what that does is the tail is hidden inside the body, so it's less likely, I feel like, to become unraveled. I don't know. It just hides it, so. Because then otherwise you have these little nubs everywhere, which, again, I don't think the 4-year-olds care so much about, but it just looks bad on kind of more serious projects, I guess. So now this one has 2 legs. So that was what I'm doing. So I'll be doing that for the next hour or so probably. Finishing that up and doing the other legs for the pinky and palm. And then I should be done pretty soon. So thank you for watching, and I hope I can make another video soon because I really enjoyed making this one. So I'll see you guys around.